I don't care about I don't want number one spots. It's just like, you know, 4 or 5 weeks ago, there was another guy that was not in the number one spot according to the entire world, and then next week, 2 weeks from now, when somebody else does it, all these discussions about, like I said, number ones and classics, and I don't care. I just want to make good music, and I just want you to enjoy it. And as long as we have that relationship for the duration of this career, I'm good. Like, I don't need to, like, I don't, you know. And maybe that's why people say I'm there, because I disconnect from it. You know, my uncle always told me something early in my life, which stuck with me, which is that while you're on the journey, you have to disconnect from the end goal. You know, because if you're just focused on some end goal, then you might get there, but it'll be hard to progress past that because you're so focused on that one destination that it's like, you know, you maybe forget everything in between, and maybe you could have done more in between. He always told me, like, just be here right now, live right now, and do the best you can right now. Don't worry about what that end goal is. It's great to have goals, it's great to have dreams, but it's just like you get too attached to it, and sometimes it can be a self-destructive thing. So, I mean, I just kind of try and progress as much as I can, like right now.
I think every time I say I'm about to do something, people are waiting for me to fumble. That's probably one of the biggest motivations behind a lot of my raps, is the amount of people that want me to fall or whatever. I think that should be the motivation for most rappers, you know. The further you climb towards the top, the more hands you have on your pant leg dragging you to the bottom. They just start tugging at you, but, you know, I wear really strong pants. I never want to be always right, because then I can't grow, I can't learn. So I have no desire to be always right. I need mistakes, you know? Right. And luckily enough, and knock on this wooden piano here, that, like, you know, my mistakes are never crucial enough for me to be like, man, you know, they're always great learning experiences.
I always want to outdo myself. I always want to outdo everybody else around me. I'm a very competitive person. I'm just quiet about it. I'm not really out there like talking about who I want to outdo. I'd rather just go and outdo it, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to just sitting back and being like, oh, you know, I don't need to tell you who I'm better than or who I'm trying to be better than. I just want to put my music out, and then you tell me who's better than you know what I'm saying? That's, I mean, yeah. I leave it up to the people, you know. Yeah. And as far as like how do I get better, I push myself really hard. I mean, I have great opinions in the studio, you know, like me, myself, Hush, we all sit in the studio and sorry, me, myself, Hush, that makes no sense. Me, 40, and Hush. I need that drink whenever you guys are ready. So yeah, you know, we all sit in the studio, and I don't sacrifice, like, I try not to sacrifice any bar, you know. I mean, I'll sit there on the last 2 lines of a verse for 3-4 days if I need to, you know, just to figure out how to end it. You know, I want it to be cohesive. I always want the beginning of a verse to be strong. I always want the end to be strong. And I really spend a lot of time on bars, man, you know. Luckily for me, melodies come extremely easy, you know, knock on wood, like, but they do. I mean, I that is something that naturally, like, I just get in there and it starts flowing, and by, you know, 40 minutes in, an hour in, I have pretty much the direction that I'm going in. But when it comes to raps, I spend a lot of time on it, man. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, you know, that's all off the top, baby, you know what I'm saying? Like,
is, like, usually when I'm in my phone, you know, it's because you said something or someone said something that's prompted me to be like, oh, I gotta write that down. It doesn't even have to rhyme, you know, right away. It doesn't have to be, you know, a thought. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't have to be a bar. It just can be like something you said. Like, even like, I think the last thing I wrote down was like, someone last night was like, man, I feel like I've become a recluse. And I was like, man, recluse, that's such a great word. I love that word. And I just write down like, use the word recluse, you know, somewhere. So if you hear recluse in a rap, it's because someone said it.
Someone said it.
Right, so it's just like those type of things. I mean, I keep a constant notepad of just ideas, play by play. If you read through that notepad, you can really see where my mind is at, where my life is at. But no one is allowed to read through that.